Hey, my name is Ben Yenny, and I don't make movies. I help filmmakers make money from their movies. So today we're going to talk about niche marketing and why it is so important, especially for low-budget independent films. I'm going to outline what we're going to go over, and there are four primary points here. The first is that niche marketing gives you an audience for your film. The second is that niche marketing cuts down on your marketing costs drastically, and this is a huge component of that. The third is that niche marketing can even help fund your film. And finally, the fourth is that niche marketing helps you find your strongest advocates for your film. So let's get started. So this is kind of obvious, but figuring out what niche to target helps you find your core audience and your core demographic. And if you don't know that, you're not going to be able to get your film funded by anyone other than yourself or your parents at all. So every investor that you talk to is going to ask who your core audience is, and if you're smart, you'll be targeting a niche audience. And part of the reason you target that niche audience is that it's easier to keep the cost down. Reviews are extremely important to success in independent film. I'll link to a blog below that I outline why, but the basics of niche markets helping you get positive reviews for less money is that you can help target the people who are most likely to be interested in your film. Say you're making a LGBT film, or a faith-based film, or a film that targets some level of other interest group, including counterculture people. There was a documentary recently that targeted a lot of new progressive Democrats that went out on Netflix and kind of blew up in those circles, and basically everyone in those circles watched it. And that at its core is really an extremely good use of niche marketing. Through looking at that, they were able to get press coverage on basically every progressive media outlet once it dropped on Netflix, and the views went a lot higher than they would have otherwise. When you target the right niche, it is much easier to get press. When you have good reviews, it's more likely that you'll get picked up in search algorithms and recommended to other people who might be in your core demographic and might not have had another way of discovering it. That's the biggest reason that it cuts down on your marketing cost. And just because we talk about niche being your primary audience to target first, it's not your entire audience. It's not the entire extent of your marketing plan. It's just how you get that core group so that you can help break out from the white noise of the massive amount of content being created every single year just in the US. On that same note, having a strong niche market that you can build into a community around yourself and your work can actually help you finance your movie. And the way you do that is you continue to engage with your community and your base, and then you can eventually crowdfund from them or find investors who might be more likely to invest in your project than they would normally be because they have an affinity for the subject matter and they happen to fall into your niche, so they totally understand why it's an underserved niche. And finally, niche marketing can help you find your early adopters and your strongest advocates for your film. Basically, this feeds into the same sort of reviews, audience building, and community development we've been talking about for this entire video, but strong niche marketing makes it more likely that you're going to be able to find what Malcolm Gladwell deemed as mavens in his book Tipping Point. And mavens are basically super knowledgeable people about a really specific set of stuff. So targeting that niche is going to help you find those mavens first. And those mavens, once they get really into something, are going to be more likely to spread it to all of their friends and help those friends stick. Most of the time, these people, these mavens, also tend to know what Gladwell deemed as connectors. And these connectors are really the people that make it possible for you to break out of your niche. The connectors know a lot of people in a lot of different circles, and they kind of make it their business to know a lot of mavens, and just in general, a lot of people. And when they really find something cool and hip, they are more able to help it grow. The only way you really get them is when you get to them through a maven, or you know them yourselves. Not everybody knows enough connectors to really help their film break. So if you target a niche, it's more likely you'll find enough mavens to help you get past that tipping point. So thanks again for watching. This is not my primary gig. I'm actually a producer's rep and film distributor, as well as author and a bunch of other stuff. You can see the stuff behind me. But I do this more as a public service to help get knowledge about the film business out there to anyone who wants to look for it. Now, that being said, it does take time away from my actual gigs and my actual clients. So if you want to support this and see more of this, please consider dropping a few bucks in my Patreon. If you can't do that, even just liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing are hugely helpful indicators for me to keep making these videos and keep sharing this knowledge. So there are some other links below you should check out, including a great film market and film marketing resource packet that's completely free, and several other of my social media profiles, as well as some of the blogs that informed this topic here. So thanks again, and I'll post another video next week.